Hello traders, this is Rich Derrick for tradesight. This is the market preview for our leading stocks for this session via our scans. This is going to be for Monday, April 15th, 2013. We had a fairly sloppy session, but one that was kind of characterized by just overall recovery of prices, which kind of left us with a little bit of a bias to the buy side for this coming session on Monday. A couple of sell signals here, but they're definitely overwhelmed by the buy signals and the NASDAQ leaders. There's definitely a bunch of volume bumps. Had a volume bump in Amgen, closing almost 3% above the open. That's starting to get pretty aggressive to the upside here, so definitely be aware of that. Biogen, same thing. Good volume, good upside move today. But this one had a differential sell signal, which means it closed substantially off the day's high, so be aware of that. We also had a volume bump in Netflix. That was weak, down 2.25% below the open. And we had a pretty strong day in Sina. We've got a CPS upside signal. We closed 2.5% above the open, although on slightly lower volume. The financials, definitely better to buy. A lot of camouflage buy signals where we were down at least 2 days and closed above the open. There was a volume bump at JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and also Wells Fargo. So those are all names that I would be focusing on for the beginning of next week. The energy patch was kind of sloppy today. Crude got hit very, very hard today, along with gold. So we're definitely seeing some weak numbers there. We've got volume bumps in RIG and Devon. We have a downside CPS sell signal in CHK. Those names will be on my list for Monday. In the generals, a little bit more concentrated to the buy side. We don't have that smattering of sells. Got pretty good buy signals across the board here, which indicates that we're going to take out today's high before we take out today's low on Monday. Got a volume bump in McDonald's and a volume bump in Comcast, and also Best Buy still in motion. Moving on to the housing names, kind of a mixed bag here. A couple of buys, a couple of sells, but there are a couple of volume bumps. Home Depot, NVR, and Toll Brothers. NVR, we keep an eye on. That's a very high price stock. When you see a volume bump in that, it's usually institutional folks putting some money to work or taking it off the table, depending on the direction. So keep an eye on that. Transportation is a little bit to the sell side here. CSX differential sell signal, and NSC has a camouflage sell signal for Monday. And the commodities were, either weak or very weak, depending on which ones you're looking at. Gold got absolutely thumped today. Copper was weak. Everything was weak across the board. Got a downside CPS signal in FCX. That was 2% below the open. Double G, more skewed to the gold side than Freeport. 3% below the open on a volume bump. We also have a volume bump here in Newmont Mining. Newmont just got abandoned today. 2 times the typical volume with a downside CPS sell signal. American Barrick was kind of the dog of the whole day. Down more than 6% off the day's open on 3 times the normal volume for ABX. Those are all names that should be in consideration for Monday. Well, that's going to be for this week's. As always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich Derrick for tradesight. See you next week.